Good morning. I'm J.B. Kurish from Emory Executive Education. It's my honor to be here at the Merit Summit to talk a bit about turbocharging learning through action. Now, all of us in the room are incredibly focused on ensuring that leaders and high potentials are receiving impactful education. Further, we all strive to be on the cutting edge of intellectual content. For example, playing off of and learning from some of the comments that were going on this morning in the area of neuroscience from Andy. Thank you very much for that, Andy. I believe that executive education ascends to its highest level when you are weaving powerful experiential activities into the fabric of a program. This enhances the retention and the power of that learning, capturing the knowledge. One of the things we do at Emory in our high-performing teamwork as well as our leadership work is we focus on experiential learning, and we use, as one example, rowing. And today I have one of my intellectual and experiential partners, Jason Caldwell, with us that I want to share this platform with. Jason is going to tell a story that is a bit intense, a bit more intense than what we do in our executive education, but illustrates leadership in action. So Jason, take it away for a moment.
All right. Thanks, JB. Intellectual is a bit of a stretch for me, but I appreciate that. Today I'm going to talk about leveraging human emotion, all right, and how that pertains to great leadership. And I'm going to do that by telling a very quick story. Over the last 2 years, I've participated in what many call the world's toughest race. It's actually a 3,000-mile, 5,000-kilometer rowing race across the Atlantic Ocean that starts in the Canary Islands and goes southwest those 3,000 miles to the Caribbean. This is a picture of me and one of my teammates, Tom, who's actually here today at the finish line of our first year's race. This is the boat that you use, just for a little context. This is a self-sufficient race, meaning when you leave the start line, you cannot take anything from another vessel. You must pack your own food, make your own water. If something breaks, you must fix it. That's why one of the many reasons it's so tough. So in 2013, I decided to start building a team and training them for 2 years to enter the 2015 race. Now, once that race started in 2015, to be honest with you, it was not going well. 600 miles into the 3,000-mile race, 2 of our teammates were evacuated for different reasons, all right, which just left myself and Tom to row a 4-person boat the remaining 2,400 miles. The other thing that was happening is the next 3 days, as we were by ourselves, we saw some of the worst weather in recorded race history. Waves as tall as 10 to 12 meters high. This boat was literally surfing down, and we were trying to maintain ourselves from capsizing. By the end of that 3rd day, as we were by ourselves, I'm going to be honest with you, I wanted to quit. Absolutely, and so did Tom. And as I'm rowing my 2 shifts, and by the way, this is to keep this going, to win this race, you must row continuously, 2 hours on, 2 hours off, 24 hours a day throughout the entire race. So we were doing that with 4, but now we were trying to do it with 2. So now you're just rowing 2 hours on, 2 hours off by yourself. And as I'm kind of finishing my last 2-hour shift, as the sun's coming up in the morning and I want to quit, Tom pops his head out of one of the cabins, and I'm expecting some kind of encouraging words as we've been doing as we pass each other. And instead he chooses to say, "Hey, what do you want for breakfast?" Which to me was absurd, and I was upset. So I turn around to kind of admonish him for this stupid comment when I realize I'm starving. Over the course of the night, because of the storms, I hadn't eaten anything. And so I said, well, actually, I guess I'd like the chicken risotto, which was one of our freeze-dried meals flavors. And he responds by saying, you know what, I think I'll have the spaghetti bolognese. Now, these are 2 people, mind you, not at an Italian restaurant, but in the middle of the ocean. And then he says, well, would you like me to make coffee? I said, yeah, of course, I love coffee. And he says, well, would you like me to sprinkle that hazelnut creamer in it? I said, yeah, what are we even talking about? It's my favorite part. So he says, I'll tell you what, if you row an extra 10 minutes, I'll make breakfast for you. And I said, okay. And at the end of that 10 minutes, 13 if I'm being honest, I stopped rowing. First time we'd ever stopped rowing in this race. Pulled the oars in like they are, turned around, and we had breakfast together for 30 minutes. We didn't row. We just had breakfast, and we started to share stories. We hadn't seen each other in 3 days. I said, you know what happened to me last night? A flying fish hit me right in the face, which is true, it did. And he started laughing, and he was sharing stories. And at the end of the 30 minutes, we said, okay. And we went back to our 2-hour shifts, but something huge happened there. First of all, at this point, we were in third to last place, 24th place. Everyone just assumed we were going to quit at some point. But over the next 40 days, until we crossed the finish line, we moved up to 11th place. We crossed the finish line 51 days from when we started, setting the American record by 13 hours for the 4. And I'm very proud of that. But the other thing that was very interesting is that we had breakfast every morning just like that at 8 a.m. in the ocean. Every morning, we recommitted to each other. Now, we didn't go up to each other and say, hey, you want to recommit to me today? Because that's a movie. That's not how it works here. But in our hearts, that's exactly what we were doing. We were leveraging each other's human emotion in a way that we were more afraid of letting each other down in the next 24 hours than we were of the elements themselves. We crossed that finish line very proud, but I re-upped to race the next year. Not because we didn't win, but because I realized as the leader of that team, my leadership journey was incomplete. And while I succeeded in leveraging Tom's human emotion, I failed with the other 2 guys who chose to leave the race. And so I went about building a new team, entering the next year's race where I could properly leverage that human emotion, and they in turn could properly leverage it to me. So that when we were in the middle of that thing, and it seemed impossible as I knew it would, we would have each other. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, we go on to win that race and set the world record that very next year. All right? But, oh, hey, thanks. I've got very little time, so stop. Okay. But there was a week before the race when another storm hit us in this second race that threatened to knock us off that world record pace. And I'm going to show you a short video to wrap up here that's going to show you what I believe is the best example of human emotion being leveraged at its greatest. So watch this.
Under 2 weeks to go, assuming all goes well and on pace for the world record. I really can't ask for anything more.
Then, on Friday the 13th, everything went against us.
The worst day of our road.
Potential headwinds for up to 2 days, which could completely ruin our hope of getting the world record.
All of a sudden the water felt like you were rowing through cement.
We couldn't move the boat.
Watching the record drift away.
And it just felt like it was God slipping through our hands.
We were so set on that record. Giving up was never an option.
We had to average 80 miles a day for the next 5 days.
And if we do that, we may just get the record. That's how close it was. And it's literally coming down to the hour.
That's when Jason's leadership came in and he just said, right, here we go. And he set big goals that I thought there's no way you should even, if you may be thinking it, but let's say it out loud.
We did 79 miles, 92 mile day, 94 mile day. The ocean was throwing everything it had at us, and it wasn't enough to break our spirit.
So then it turned from chasing a record to how much can we beat this record.
The crew was great. We all just came together and we were so driven.
At that stage, the camaraderie went up, and that's when everyone started to stick their hand up and say, yeah, I'll row an extra shift. Matt was sticking his hand up every 5 minutes.
This guy's starting to just finish his 2-hour shift, shovel some food down, and then all of a sudden you just start putting oars in that third position. And you feel like, okay, I'm just gonna row for another hour, I feel pretty good. I got into this state of turning on beast mode. All of a sudden you see the selflessness be taken to another level.
At that time, we could not have gone any faster or dug any deeper.
And that final day was just beautiful closure on what was the most amazing endeavor that I've ever been part of.
But we pushed ourselves to the limit, and it made coming to Antigua the best feeling in the world.
It's words can't describe what finish line, it's just an overload of information. We've been with these 3 other people who we turned into brothers.
And the feeling of pulling together, pulling for one another, trying to live up to one another is amazing.
We've done something that's rare in today's world.
We crossed the ocean in 35 days, 14 hours and 3 minutes. Won the race, set the world record. I couldn't have picked a better team.
I think we can see a lot of scope in that. The human emotion, the leadership. Thank you, Brino. Just so you know, Tom and Jason will be with us at our booth throughout the day today. Please stop by. I will say we don't do multi-day ocean rowing in executive ed, but we do some great 1-2 day programs on rivers, and very powerful, and you can see some videos from some of our clients regarding that. Look forward to chatting with you. Thank you.